'cause if you feed me Seymour,
You have a talent for causing things.
You sure do drive a hard bargain.
Annals of cinema, there are few films that manage to blend the grotesque with the whimsical quite as Little Shop of Horrors, released in 1986, does. Directed by Frank Oz, this bizarre little gem takes the premise of a killer plant and turns it into a full-blown musical comedy, with a dash of existential horror for good measure. It's a film that's as hard to categorise as it is to forget, which might be why it remains a cult classic, though whether it's for the right reasons is up for debate. So let's dive into all the elements from production, score, plot and cast that turned this 80s B-movie into both a cult classic and a successful Broadway show. The journey of Little Shop of Horrors from obscure B-movie to beloved musical began in the most unlikely of places, Geffen Films. Known more for producing records than movies, Geffen's decision to greenlight a musical adaptation of an already obscure 1960s film was, in hindsight, either a stroke of genius or the result of one too many long lunches. The project's helmsman, Frank Oz, was already famous for his work with the Muppets, and as the voice of Yoda, so someone clearly thought if he can handle a sage green puppet, a man-eating plant should be a walk in the park. And thus, Oz was tasked with bringing Audrey II to life, a plant whose appetite for blood was rivalled only by its flair for show tunes. From the outset, Oz's vision for Little Shop of Horrors was ambitious. He wanted to create a film that was both campy and creepy, with songs catchy enough to make you forget you're watching a story about a murderous piece of foliage. To bring this vision to life, Oz teamed up with Howard Ashman, who not only wrote the screenplay but also the lyrics. Ashman, who would later co-write the lyrics for The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, was still in his experimental phase, which in this case meant figuring out how to make a plant singing about murder seem like good clean fun.
Must be blood.
Tui, that's disgusting. Must be fresh.
Casting for the film was something of a mixed bag. Rick Moranis was brought in to play Seymour, a hapless florist who unwittingly nurtures Audrey II into a full-blown menace. Moranis, with his inherently nerdy charm, was perfect for the role. One can't help but wonder if his performance would have been slightly less pitiful if the script had given him more to do than cower and sing in the plant's shadow. Ellen Greene reprised her role as Audrey Seymour's love interest from the original stage production. Greene's performance is endearing, if a bit one-note, though given that her character spends most of the film pining for Seymour or screaming in terror, it's hard to blame her. Then there's Steve Martin as Orin Scrivello, a character who redefines what it means to be a sadistic dentist. Martin's performance is gloriously over the top, which is exactly what the role demands. It's clear that Martin relished every moment of playing a character so delightfully detestable, and his scenes are some of the film's most memorable. It's a bit troubling that a movie about a killer plant features a human dentist as its secondary villain.
Does that mean they're finished? My turn?
Six.
Consider yourself very, very lucky.
Let's take a look at that mouth. Say it.
Laughing and scratching at you. How's everybody doing today? I got a little bit of a stiff neck. Let me just fix this up. Oh, what? You, please, lady, don't. Put your clothes back on. It's Wink. Well, you can't do this to me. What if your husband were to walk in?
When it comes to Little Shop of Horrors, the true star of the show isn't Rick Moranis or even Steve Martin's delightfully unhinged dentist. No, the real MVP is Audrey II, the man-eating plant that managed to upstage everyone and required an entire village of puppeteers to do so. The team, led by Lyle Conway, faced the Herculean task of bringing this monstrous flora to life without the aid of CGI. Because, let's be honest, CGI in the mid-80s would have turned Audrey II into something more akin to a pixelated houseplant. Instead, they opted for practical effects, building a series of animatronic puppets that range from a tiny hand-operated sprout to a fully grown behemoth that could swallow a man whole, literally. Audrey II's largest form was operated by up to 60 puppeteers, each responsible for different parts of the plant's body. The feat of coordination meant that filming any scene with Audrey II required the patience of a saint, the timing of a Swiss watch, and probably several gallons of coffee. One can only imagine the director's delight when, after 30 takes, the plant's timing was finally perfect, only for an actor to miss their cue. The plant's lip-syncing abilities were another marvel of 1980s ingenuity. Since the animatronic couldn't quite match the speed of normal speech, the actors, particularly Levi Stubbs, the voice of Audrey, had to record their lines at half speed.
No shit, Sherlock. We straight. I'm just a mean green mother from outer space, and I'm bad.
These recordings were then played back at double speed to synchronise with the plant's movements. The result? A convincingly sinister plant, with impeccable enunciation. Let's not forget the growth spurts, those moments where Audrey II expands from a small, cute sapling into a colossal, bloodthirsty beast. These scenes were achieved through a combination of reverse photography and clever camera work. The crew filmed the plant deflating or shrinking, then played the footage backward to give the illusion of it rapidly growing. It's a simple trick, but one that, much like the film itself, works far better than it has any right to. The special effects in Little Shop of Horrors are a testament to what can be accomplished with a lot of creativity, a bit of movie magic, and a willingness to push the boundaries of 1980s technology. The fact that Audrey II remains so vividly realised is proof that sometimes old-school techniques are still the best way to bring a killer plant to life. But not everything about Little Shop of Horrors is as sharp as Audrey II's teeth. The film's original ending, where the plant devours Seymour, Audrey, and eventually the world, was scrapped after test audiences reacted poorly. Instead, we were given a more uplifting conclusion, which feels like a betrayal of the film's inherently dark premise. It's as if the filmmakers got cold feet at the last minute and decided that audiences might not be ready for a downer ending to their musical comedy about a killer plant. The result is an ending that ties things up a bit too neatly, leaving you with a nagging feeling that you've been cheated out of something much more interesting. The film's score, composed by the legendary Alan Menken, is a brilliant blend of doo-wop, rock and Motown, a mix that shouldn't work for a story about a man-eating plant, yet somehow it does. Menken, who would later become famous for his work on Disney classics, crafted a soundtrack that perfectly captures the film's quirky tone, seamlessly weaving together humour, horror and heart. The opening number, Prologue, Little Shop of Horrors, sets the stage with an infectious rhythm that draws you into the world of Skid Row, transforming a grim setting into a lively musical landscape. Then there's Skid Row downtown, which manages to be both a lament and an anthem. Soulful melody capturing the despair of the characters, while still making you want to sing along. Smaller, more intimate songs like Somewhere That's Green and Who Could Forget Feed Me, Get It?, where the music's upbeat, funky rhythm brilliantly contrasts with the song's dark subject matter, making Seymour's moral descent feel almost exhilarating. Instrumentation throughout the score evokes the 1960s era, with brass, piano and percussion, giving the music a retro yet timeless feel. Menken's ability to balance the film's tonal shifts, moving from the bombastic energy of Dentist to the tender melancholy of Suddenly Seymour, is nothing short of remarkable.
Suddenly Seymour is standing beside you.
The sound design complements the score perfectly, with Audrey II's growls and squeaks enhancing the plant's transformation from innocuous sprout to menacing monster. These effects, combined with Dub's powerful voice, create a character as dynamic and memorable as any of the human performers. In essence, Menken's score is the glue that holds Little Shop of Horrors together. It not only enhances the absurdity of the plot, but also makes you care about the characters, even as they're being devoured by a killer plant. It's a testament to Menken's genius that the music stands out as one of the most enduring aspects of this cult classic, making Little Shop of Horrors as memorable for its tunes as it is for its terrors. Now, the plot itself is delightfully absurd. Seymour discovers a strange plant, names it Audrey II, and quickly realises that it thrives on human blood. As the plant grows, so does Seymour's moral dilemma, culminating in a series of murders that are somehow played for laughs. It's a testament to the film's tonal tightrope that it manages to juggle horror, comedy and musical numbers without completely falling apart. Yet for all its absurdity, the film also does touch on some heavy themes: greed, ambition and the corrupting influence of power. Though it explores the ideas with all the finesse of a giant carnivorous plant smashing through a greenhouse. Upon its release, Little Shop of Horrors received generally positive reviews. Critics praised its dark humour and musical numbers, though some were left scratching their heads at the tonal whiplash between the film's campy exterior and its darker undertones. At the box office, the film performed decently, but it wasn't exactly a smash hit. Its cult status, however, has only grown over the years, with many fans appreciating it for its unique blend. In terms of legacy, Little Shop of Horrors has had a significant impact on both musical theatre and cult cinema. The film's success also helped to cement Frank Oz's reputation as a director. In the end, Little Shop of Horrors is a film that's difficult to pin down. It's simultaneously a horror movie, a comedy and a musical, genres that, on paper, shouldn't work together, but somehow do. It's a film where the most relatable character is a man-eating plant, and where the most terrifying villain is a dentist with a penchant for pain. It's ridiculous, it's over the top, and it's strangely compelling. Whether you love it or hate it, there's no denying that Little Shop of Horrors is a one-of-a-kind cinematic experience, and if nothing else, will make you think twice before buying that suspicious-looking plant at the garden centre. So if you've got a couple of hours to kill and a taste for the bizarre, give Little Shop of Horrors a watch. Just be sure to keep an eye on any houseplants afterward. You never know when one might start singing for its supper. And if you enjoyed this dive into the world of singing plants and sadistic dentists, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a nice little boop thumbs up, and leave a comment below with your thoughts on the movie. After all, in the wild world of cult cinema, your voice is as vital as a catchy tune or a man-eating plant. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching the strange and wonderful.